Guys, welcome to what I hope to be a continuing series, a little bit of a short video podcast on exactly what you see on the screen here, small business tech. Um, I've been meaning to start this program for a little while now, but things like time have been a bit of an issue. So while I can't promise to make this a weekly thing, I will definitely try to make it a bit of a at least twice a month if possible. And we're going to focus on is small business tech. We're going to focus both on open source and commercial, but I definitely try to focus mainly on open source for a couple of reasons. One, it's open, meaning that you can modify it. Even if you don't want to modify it yourself, you can. It's usually relatively easy to find someone that you can pay to modify and make the changes that you need. Just be aware that in some cases, if you make certain changes, you are required to push those changes upstream. Meaning, for example, if you change the way a particular aspect of an application works under some licenses, even though they're open source and you can see the code, you are required to send those changes back up to the developer for them to consider making it part of the mainstream application. Now, let's be honest, this is completely based on the honor system. There's no one really in particular that is going to come knocking at your door. But, what makes the open source community works is especially things like being able to push changes back upstream. But I love open source, and I especially love Linux. So, my slide got cut off a little bit here, but this is going to be pretty quick. So here are the topics we're going to be looking to cover at some point. So we're in no particular order, by the way. So we're definitely going to look at things like storage, mostly network storage. So that's your NAS. I'll when needed and when possible, we look at things like iSCSI, NFS. AFP, SMB, and all sorts of storage technology. We're going to definitely look at networking, switches, routers, firewalls, etc. We're going to look at computing, desktops, laptops, operating systems, Windows, Mac, Linux. We're going to look at monitoring. I mean, if you have an infrastructure and a business, you need to know when things don't work properly. Even if it's very simple things such as that your printer being out of ink. Virtualization a few years ago used to be a very hot topic. These days it's not as much of a hot topic, but it's very much alive. And I guess in virtualization I'll include containerization, which is kind of a subset of virtualization using things like Docker. But we'll get into that at some point. VoIP. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you don't have to pay Ma Bell tons and tons of money to have a business phone system that barely suits your needs. You can either roll your own with some very easy to get software and in a few cases some hardware. Well, not in a few cases, with phones, which are relatively affordable these days and pretty feature rich. Or you can even pay for others. You can pay for hosted services or do it yourself. We're going to look at, that says video twice, but I should say video conferencing only once. And we're going to look at some video conferencing solutions like Jitsi. And to wrap it up really quickly, we're also going to look at mobile computing, aka VPN. How do you want to do things? How do you want your employees to, for example, say you have field employees, you can have them access your network remotely over VPN, or in a situation where you have a lot of web-based applications, you can either force a VPN connection, which kind of gives you a little bit of extra security, or you can expose these web-based applications to the internet and trust, basically have it so that your employees, even in the field, can access data that they need and can also fill out whatever forms that you need. So if you're an electrical contractor. You can have your electricians in the field go to a site, find that they do their site survey, say the things that they need, fill that information out, fill out the forms required, say for example the name of the client, things of that sort, and also say you need to put a new outlet in. You're gonna, so we need to order wire, outlet, circuit breaker, things of the sort. You can also have it so that your customers can submit requests to you directly via your website and have some scheduling in the back end so that the next available electrician or whatever your business is will be able to pick up that request. And finally, we're going to deal with network security, which is a very big topic. It's relatively nebulous. It can be as simple as firewalls and access control, things like Active Directory and LDAP, and even go further into things like video cameras, physical security for your premises, physical security for your servers. If you're going to store customer information and financial information on this infrastructure, you should also be able to secure it. I shouldn't just be able to walk into your office and walk out with your hard drive and have all your data. And whatever else comes to mind. But that said, that's it for this short video. And I hope you enjoyed episode 0.